You're looking at your credit report and your stomach drops. Collections you forgot about, late payments from 3 years ago, maybe a charge off you thought was handled, and now you're wondering, is this fixable or am I stuck? I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Here's the thing most people don't realize about credit. Your credit score is not a permanent record. It's not carved in stone. It's more like a rolling snapshot of your recent financial behavior. And the system is actually designed to give more weight to what you're doing right now than what happened years ago. So if you're sitting there with a score in the 500s or low 600s, I want you to hear me clearly. This is fixable. People bounce back from the 500s into the 700s. It happens every single day. But it doesn't happen by accident. It happens with a plan. So let's talk about where to start. Step one is simple, but most people skip it. Pull your credit reports, all 3 of them. You can get them free every week now at annualcreditreport.com, annualcreditreport.com. You need all 3 because Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion don't always have the same information. A collection might show up on one report, but not the others. A late payment might be reported differently across bureaus. You need the full picture before you can build a strategy. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Once you have those reports in front of you, you're going to find that not everything on there is accurate. The FTC found that roughly 1 in 5 consumers had an error on at least one credit report. 1 in 5. That's not a small number. So you might be getting punished for something that isn't even correct. And I'm going to submit, I've looked at hundreds, maybe thousands of credit reports. I think the number is more like 1 in 5 are accurate, not 1 in 5 have errors, because I have never seen one that's completely accurate. What kind of errors? Accounts that aren't yours? A paid debt is still showing a balance? A collection that's older than 7 years should have fallen off by now? Duplicate listings where the same debt shows up twice? These are all disputable under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. The bureaus have 30 days to investigate once you file a dispute. And if they can't verify them, they have to remove them. That's not a suggestion. That's the law. Now, I want to be really clear about something. I'm not talking about those companies that promise to erase accurate negative information from your report for a fee. Nobody can legally do that. If you actually missed payments, that's going to stay on your report for up to 7 years. What I'm talking about is making sure your report is accurate. There's a big difference between correcting mistakes and trying to game the system. Now, the law says it must be complete, it must be accurate, and it must be verifiable. If the agency doesn't verify it, or if it's not complete, if it's not accurate, it must be removed. And like our friends over at Blue Water Credit, they understand these things and they understand how to use them to benefit you. So what about the stuff that is accurate? The late payments that really happen, the collections that are legitimately yours. You have options there too. And first, I want to be clear that I'm not giving legal advice here, but you should be aware of the statute of limitations in your state. Every state has a time limit on how long a creditor or collector can take you to court over a debt. If that window is closed, your negotiating position changes significantly. But talk to a qualified attorney if you're dealing with that situation, because the rules vary state by state and the details matter. Second, if a collector contacts you, don't just pay without asking questions. You have the right to request debt validation. Make them prove you owe what they say you owe, that they have the right to collect it, and that the amount is correct. Send that request in writing within 30 days of first contact. If the debt checks out, then you decide, pay in full if you can, negotiate a settlement if you can't. Sometimes collectors will accept 30 to 50 cents on the dollar. And here's a pro tip. Always get the agreement in writing before you send a dime. Verbal promises from collection agencies aren't worth the air they're spoken into. Now let's talk about rebuilding, because cleaning up the negatives is only half the equation. You also need to start adding positive information to your credit file. The single fastest thing you can do, get your credit card utilization below 30%. Below 10% is even better if you have a card with a $1,000 limit and you're carrying a $900 balance. That's killing your score right now. That's a 90% utilization. 900 divided by 1,000. Pay that down. You can see the score jump in as little as one reporting cycle. Pay it before the statement closing date, and we show you how to do that. rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com. If you don't have any open credit accounts, consider a secured credit card. You put down a deposit, say $300, and that becomes your credit limit. Use it for one small purchase a month, pay it off in full. And you're building positive payment history every single month. Within 6 to 12 months, many banks will graduate you to a regular unsecured card and give your deposit back. And while you're at it, go to rsrlinks.com/FICO, rsrlinks.com/FICO, and check your actual FICO score, not a Vantage, not an estimate, your real FICO, because that's what most lenders are actually using when they make decisions about your mortgage, your car loan, your insurance rates. You need to know your real numbers so you can track your progress. Set up an auto pay on everything. I mean, everything, even if it's just the minimum payment, because your payment history is 35% of your FICO score. That's the single biggest factor. One missed payment can drop your score 50 points or more. Auto pay is your safety net. Here's what I want you to take away from today. Bad credit is not a character flaw. It's a situation, and situations can be changed, but you need a roadmap. You need to know exactly what's on your reports, what's accurate, what needs to be disputed, what needs to be negotiated, and how to start stacking positive credit history on top of the old negatives. That's exactly what we help people do. Go to rsrlinks.com/keysteps. That's rsrlinks.com/keysteps. We'll walk you through the next steps, help you build a budget, and put together a strategy that's specific to your situation, not a cookie cutter plan, a real plan based on where you are right now and where you need to be. Because here's the truth that nobody in this industry wants to tell you. Your credit score is just a tool. And like any tool, once you understand how it works, you can make it work for you instead of against you. That's what strategic debt management is all about. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to the Your Credit Matters segment, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/debt-free, rsrlinks.com/debt-free.